Greetings, accounting technology watchers, and welcome to another edition of Accountech Bytes with me, Tom Herbert. So, what has been happening in the world of accounting technology this week? Let's take a look. So, I dug into a survey that was commissioned on behalf of HMRC to find out how agents were using their digital services. And one of the headlines I pulled out was the fact that because agents don't have access to the same data their clients do via their personal tax accounts, that 58% of agents admitted to logging into their clients' online accounts using the client's credentials, despite their professional bodies telling them not to. What else in the survey? Loads of other things. I've only pulled out a few headlines here, but the old two separate agent online accounts with different login details reared its head again. Why? And the fact that in 2023 you can't communicate via email with HMRC, but yeah, lots of other things that were flagged. So do check out the article, the report, plenty going on in the comments section as well. Link to this and all the other articles featured in this video are in the description. I also talked about the report and the return of QuickBooks Connect next week in the latest edition of our No Accounting for Taste podcast. So I joined my good friend Richard Hattersley and Sophia Thomas, the director and co-founder of Juno Sports Tax. It was a really good discussion. So if you're into your podcasts, then do search for Accounting Web on your podcast player of choice. I wouldn't say a backlash, but there's definitely a bit of a pushback, or perhaps a realignment about generative AI and ChatGPT tools. As I mentioned last week, I ran a webinar on this, and the 4 tech-friendly accountants who were on the panel were, very optimistic about the medium to long-term future of these types of tools, but just cautioned a little bit about going too far down the adoption path at this stage. The Register has gone in slightly harder, with one of their columnists calling it a malevolent AI that should be destroyed. This chap seems to have asked ChatGPT, he's put his name into ChatGPT, and unfortunately it told him he died back in 2019. So you can understand why he's written a sniffy opinion column on that. I tried it with myself, but it just told me to stick my name to Google. So I don't know whether it's readjusted in the last 24 hours. Who knows? I guess that's the beauty with these types of models. What's back to Accounting Web? And Bill Mew has looked at the recent calls by Tony Blair and William Hague for the one unique digital ID. Hey, 1997 call, we want our idea back. I think to try and sum up Bill's quite complex article, I think that there are huge benefits to be gained by such an idea, but also huge hurdles in the way of it ever being adopted. So do check that out. On to more practical matters. Free Agent have updated us on so that they've actually provided me with some invoicing updates here. So number 1, a new invoice and estimate theme designer that lets you customize an invoice theme, change the colors and the fonts. Looking good there, John Doe. And if you have a payment integration enabled with the likes of GoCardless, PayPal or Stripe, you can add a Pay Now button or share a link to get paid. Xero has a new Chief Product Officer. Dia Jolly has stepped in for Anna Curzon, who's taking a break for health reasons. Hope you're okay, Anna. I spoke to Anna back in July last year for XeroCon in London. Had a really good discussion with her despite the 40-degree heat. So yeah, hope you're okay. Now, Phil Wainwright, the legendary Phil Wainwright over at Diginomica, has been over in India with the Zoho chaps, and as part of that has written quite an interesting article about whether businesses are overpaying for the public cloud hyperscalers, the likes of Amazon Web Services and Azure. So just another reminder that this type of cloud service isn't right for everyone. A couple of little bits and pieces from TechCrunch now. So this is Bonusly, an employee recognition platform who've raised a bit of money, I guess in a tight labour market. Employee recognition being a sort of retention tool to keep people happy and from moving on is a good idea. And I guess the cost of these tools versus the cost of recruitment is one thing to consider. So with Bonusly, you get an allowance to give small bonuses to your colleagues to recognise their contributions. So things like gift cards for Amazon and Hulu, cash, charitable donations. Sure what the tax implications of this would be, but I think this is a US version at the moment. So let's not go too deep into it. Spade. They've profiled the company Spade, which turns credit card transaction gibberish, great word, into clear and actionable data. So taking the reference numbers on your credit card statements and enriching it with merchant identities, logos, business hours, spending history. They've talked about sort of customers being able to implement better spending controls, fraud prevention, that type of thing. This is from SF Gate, who seem to have dug into Wall Street Journal's investigation into the Salesforce CEO Mark Benioff and Matthew McConaughey's, what they're calling this expensive bromance. So yes, they're reporting that Matthew McConaughey's Salesforce cash and equity package is so large it requires approval from the software firm's compensation committee. Despite recently laying off 8,000 employees. Not a great look, but it's their business. Also some pretty strong Q4 results. The Register have reported 14% jump in revenue, improving profits and margins. So focus on profitability and gaining that by sweating tech infrastructure for another year. That was the lead on this article. Finally, a New York judge has ruled that emojis can be used in certain situations and they can only objectively mean one thing. In this case, it's quite a complex one, but I'll give it a go. It was a company selling NFTs, snapshots of moments in basketball players' careers, and they were advertising it on social media with rocket emojis, in this case meaning that those who bought these emojis, sometimes for six figures, would get a decent return on investment, make profit on that. I've massively oversimplified it, but yes, that is an interesting one. Lol, as you might say. Something hopefully slightly simpler than NFT cases. If you'd like to keep up to date with the world of accounting technology, then pop your email address in the box below and I'll send you an email every Thursday. Thanks very much for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.